Hello and welcome back. In today's video we have a new Bannerlord developer blog, which is an interview with the head of Taleworlds, Yavuz. Now before we jump into this, I would like to talk about a few things. Now obviously my channel contains a lot of Bannerlord information and news, etc. And you're probably wondering where's all the other stuff that's come out from Gamescom, where is it on my channel? And the simple explanation for that is I cannot get the footage. I cannot watch the streams, I cannot download any footage at all because my internet, it just doesn't work. I'll show a screenshot on screen right now of my internet speeds, and I've literally tried everything in the book to try and get this fixed, and the internet provider I'm with, TalkTalk, literally do not help me at all, so I advise you never to buy from them. I've honestly tried everything to get it fixed, from switching internet providers and everything, so that's why you haven't seen any of the new Bannerlord information, because I just can't get hold of it. Secondly, I believe that a lot of the new stuff that's come out is quite similar, and I didn't really feel like it was needed to make a video on it anyway, not that I actually could. I think maybe one of the streams that came out was quite interesting, but honestly a lot of the other stuff is quite similar, and I don't really see the need for me to make multiple videos on it. But I would like to say thank you to every single person that's watching these videos. You just show so much support through these Bannerlord ones particularly, but across the whole channel as well. Lastly, there are some interesting videos in the works, including a music video collaboration with another Mountain Blade YouTuber, which is going to be really, really interesting, so stay tuned for that. The first question Armageddon is asked is, what do you normally do during your day at the office? So he replies with, most of my day is taken up by meetings. In the time not occupied by meetings, I do tours around the office, and most team members call me over to their desks to show their work and get feedback, or to ask a question. I also play the game for a couple of hours to see if there are any problems. I no longer code as much as I used to, and most of my tasks around coding involve directing other programmers and doing code reviews. However, every now and again, there is something that piques my interest so much, I give it a shot. So he doesn't do that much coding and actual game development himself. He's more obviously the manager. He shows people around, he obviously talks to other companies and meetings, etc. And he also replies to people's questions, and if they need to know something about the game, or they need to confirm that they should put a certain feature in the game, he's the guy to go and ask. The next question reads, what do you like the most about Bannerlord? He replies with, what I most like seeing is how the campaign progresses. You as a player write your own story. I am also looking forward to finishing the game and seeing what kinds of mods will come out. The mod that I'm most looking forward to coming out is the Bannerlord version of Persistent World. I think that's just going to be such a groundbreaking mod. We'll probably have to wait another maybe year or a couple of years after the release of Bannerlord for that to actually come out, but it will be just phenomenal. Just imagine the Persistent World we know today, but in Bannerlord with so many more players and clans, obviously different mechanics. It's just going to be amazing. Another mod I'm really looking forward to, which probably a lot of you are looking forward to, is the Game of Thrones mod for Bannerlord. It will just be so good to have a proper like Game of Thrones mod with good graphics, and that you can kind of adventure through the Game of Thrones world, and I hope they do add like lots of different quest lines and etc, etc. It'll be really, really cool. The next question reads, what's the most difficult thing that you've solved so far during the production of Bannerlord? He says, looking back, the biggest challenge for me was deciding on the general directions to take early in Bannerlord's development. Should we take the game to have a more fully fledged storyline, or should we aim for a huge but less detailed battles? Should we drop the dynamic text or go for a full voiceover? He also goes on to say they also needed to decide how the structure of various components would work, and how mods would work as well. Obviously, we know mods are going to have tools available that the developers use to actually develop the game, which is going to be really cool. Hopefully, that would up the production time of mods, instead of them having to have the more awkward modding system of Mountain Blade Warband. He also goes on to say some decisions turned out to be exactly right, while some caused problems and we had to backtrack and change them, costing a lot more time and effort. For example, we went through 3 different UI libraries and had to implement some screens several times over, so obviously they were indecisive on the UI to use, which is fair enough, and obviously things like that are going to take time to make sure you get the perfect version. The next question is, what do you currently work on? Today I worked on the design of how army coherence will be affected as an army stays in the field for a long time, and how a player can keep it together longer by arranging its composition and spending influence. So this obviously implies that armies are going to be affected the longer they're on the battlefield for. This will probably be something to do with the morale and the odds they're against. Maybe it's like they're outnumbered 3-1, and that's going to shake them a little bit. But if they're all veteran soldiers, then they're going to stand their ground and probably fight on a bit longer. The player will also be able to affect this army coherence by actually rearranging the army into certain formations. Maybe a shield wall is particularly effective because you are next to your friends, you're ready to fight, and you don't want to run away because your friends are next to you and you feel a little bit more confident. The next question is, what faction do you like the most in Bannerlord? He says, I like to play with the Empire because they're going through a period of crisis and the situation presents interesting questions and opportunities for the player. Lastly, have you taken any major inspiration from any real or fictional places? He then replies with, back when I had started working on the very first prototypes of Mount & Blade Bannerlord, I had the great fortune of seeing this from our window. That's Eurus Castle, which is a majestic fortification that guards the northern approach to the Bosphorus. I think that's how you say it. I have always been interested in historical places, and over the years I was able to visit some wonderful examples. But I think that this particular castle was the biggest inspiration, instilling in me a great respect and interest in medieval craftsmanship and the way of life. And this kind of castle is kind of seen in things like Warband. I think one of the concept arts looks very similar to this, which I think is really, really cool. So that was the end of the Bannerlord interview. Obviously not a lot of information there, but it's interesting to learn about Armageddon Yavuz. I'd also like to thank all of you guys for all the support on these Bannerlord videos, and I hope you did enjoy. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant day, and I will see you in the next battle.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I must bow so low. Only a cat of a different coat, that's all the truth.